Firstly, to all our listeners, to wish you all a Gmar Chasima Tova, to have a good gebenched year, Shana Mavurechet, a year of only Bez Hashem, good health and Hatzlacha, V'Yamalei Hashem, Kol Mishalos Libeinu L'Teva. So I'd like to share with you a thought which helps me quite a bit during the Yom Kippur, Maseh Tshuva, and which I think is central to our understanding of what this time of year is all about. And it begins really with a question that we can ask about one of the most recurring themes in all our tefillas, which is we're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to remember us. Zachalonu bris avos, Zachreinu l'chaim, and we say Avinu Malkeinu, Zachreinu b'zikaron tov lefanecha, and we say Baruch Atah Hashem Zocher habris. We're always speaking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to remember us, and this doesn't make sense. Because we say in our Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, it's obvious when you think about it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is HaKol Yachol and He's Ein Sof. Obviously, everything that we've ever done or thought or said or every event, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Tzeifer Umabit Atzev Kol Adeiros, knows exactly every single detail that's happened to every single human being from Bereshis Bara Elokim until today. Why do we need to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu repeatedly and say Zachreinu? What is really happening here? And the answer to this question is a key to understanding our tshuva process and how it links in with our tefillas and even with our vidui on Yom Kippur to understand it a little bit more ba'amkus. But I think the beginning is to understand that really remembering, one tends to think, well, I either remember an event or I don't remember it. That's because sometimes we forget things. But in actual fact, the truth is that remembering at a certain level is an act of bechira, it's an act of choice. If you've been in a situation for 10 years, you've been in a school, let's say, for 10 years, right? If you lived in a particular shchuna for 10 years, and somebody says, what do you remember from those 10 years? So then you've got a choice to make. What are you going to say? You can remember all the painful times and the disappointments and the difficulties and all the people who broke their word and all the trouble you've had. Or you can remember the moments of friendship and the moments of warmth and the moments of inspiration and the moments of chizuk that you had. Because both are true, both are there, but you can choose to remember one or to remember the other. And that is the act of choice. So the first thing to understand is when we speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about Zachreinu, Baruch Atah Hashem Zocher habris, we're saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look, we know that in my life, in the life of Klal Yisrael, the whole history of the Jewish people, there have been good times and bad times. I've done things which I'm proud of. When I'm at my best, so my concentration is good, my kavanah is good, there's havana in my learning, and kavanah in my tefillas, and acts of chesed, and I'm able to overcome difficult midas, and that's me at my best. And that's what I'm asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zachreinu l'tova means, remember me at my best. Right? And the things that I've done wrong, forget them. Forget the things that I've done wrong. This is the first thing. Now, but the truth is, if one thinks about if that's the meaning of the tefillah, it doesn't really make sense either. Because what is this, a fake? We're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to fake selective memory and rewrite history as if the things we did wrong won't be remembered. On the contrary, we say we do remember all the wrong things we've done. So what's really going on here? How can we at the same time say Zachreinu l'tova, remember us at our best, and also at the same time say all the vidui? It doesn't quite make sense. And the key to this is to understand something that we find repeatedly, for example, in the writings of the Maharal Prague, in Sefer Gvuras Hashem, chapter 8, and other places in Netzach Yisrael, chapter 11, I think it was. We find repeatedly that the Maharal says that there's something about Klal Yisrael or Zera Kodesh that we have innately a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which can never be in any way corrupted. There's an emes hapnimis, there's an inner truth of every member, man, woman, and child of Klal Yisrael, which has got directly connected to Rebbeinu Shalom, whatever he does. And that remains pure Everybody can wake up in the morning and say, Elokaina Shamash Nasato Bi Tahirahi, it's still Tahira, right? So we've got really an essence which is pure. And all the Maisim Tovim that we do comes from the voice of the Neshama, which tells us get engaged in Chesed, be Yosef B'Torah, daven with Kavana, be involved in Klal Yisrael and Am Yisrael, raise a family, have children, Midas Tevus, patience, etc. All those things that comes from the Neshama. What we're really saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, remember me l'tova, and here comes the punchline, because that's the real me. That is the me that I want to identify with, and all the other things that I've done are really, and here comes the language of the Maral, which I find is very profound. He says, the good that Klal Yisrael have done, that's be'etzem. That's part of the essence of Klal Yisrael. Every word of Torah you've learned is connected to your essence, to your mahus, right? And the chatoim that a person has committed, they're b'mikre, they're mikri. There's something which happened, but really shouldn't have happened, but that's not really the real me. And if I have charota and say vidui, I can disown them. I can say, yes, it's true, it's happened, but that was really b'mikra. That's just something, why did I do it? I was hungry, I was tired, got angry, I got a bit jealous, I lost my focus. Ein odom choyte ela in ke nichnas by ruach shtus, says the Gemara in Seitam. A ruach shtus. What does that mean? That means that if you have absent a ruach shtus, a person is mechuvan to do the emes of the Torah. And this is a beautiful Maimah Chazal in Brachas Yudzayin. Rabbi Alexandri says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should know completely that in essence we are synchronized with the Ratzon Hashem. Umima akev, so why is it that we do Aveirus? So the answer is there's the Yitzhahara, there are bad midas, there is kinotaiva and covered, there is the hashpah of the goyim, hashpah of the outside world, all sorts of external factors, but that's only b'mikra, that's not really me be'etzem. So when a person is saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zochreinu l'toiva, we're actually making a statement not just about memory, we're making a statement about myself. I want to choose to be the person like I was at my best. What about all the other times when I made mistakes? Okay, those are the things which I did. I'm not saying I didn't do them, but it wasn't really me. I want to get rid of them. I want to throw it all into the sea because it's really, I can divest myself of it completely. That is really the essence of tshuva, is a question of identity. And it's very interesting. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says, Arba Devorim is Korea Gzadina Shalodom. There are four things which can change a person's mishpat pashamayim, right? Now we know from Unasanet Tekef, there's tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah. There are three things. So why not four things? What are the four things? So indeed, the Gemara says tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah, but what is the fourth? The fourth thing the Gemara mentions is called Shinui Hashem. Literally means changing your name. But that can't mean literally changing one's name. We don't find the people who did tshuva, once they were called David HaMelech, and then he changed his names to Mordechai. It doesn't work like that. We don't actually find, Shinui Hashem is not really literally Shinui Hashem. So the Rambam writes in Hilchos Tshuva that Shinui Hashem means Eneni Oso Ho'ish. I'm not that person who did the Aveira. It's true, I did the Aveira, but after I've said Vidui, and after I've had Charota, I'm not that person anymore. I'm a different person. I can do tshuva. I can redefine myself and reinvent myself in such a way that now I identify with those best moments in my life. I often thought, what is it comparable to? That everybody's got, I don't know how many, depends how many generations back you go, you've got hundreds of ancestors. Grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, all the way going back, Dore. Now, among all those people, some of them were wonderful people. People with good midas, people with chesed, balei emunah, balei b'nei Torah. They're great people. But I'm sure there were in everybody's family, there were some who were shakranim and ramoim and criminals, whatever, right? But you can decide which one of your ancestors you want to identify with. So if you know you've got a choshev a rav or a choshev a tzaddik in your ancestry, you can say, you know what? I am a descendant of this guy. To say that is choosing who you want to be, who you identify with, and what you are. What is the etzem and what is the mikra? The averos that we did, everybody has done, we own up to, we identify them, we take responsibility for them, and then what do? The tashlich v'mtzilas, we get rid of them. Because they were just b'mikra, and that's tshuva. The real tshuva stam comes when we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zachreinu b'zikaron tov lefonecha, remember me at my best, because that's the real me. And that is the key to understanding our tefillos, to understanding the gift of Yom Kippur, the gift of Rosh Hashanah, as the Sefer HaChinuch writes in Mitzvah Shin Yud Aleph. It says the greatest gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us was Aseres Yemei Tshuva and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that every year we have a chance to make a cheshbon hanefesh and do tshuva and wipe the slate clean. And that's the secret, he says, of the nitzchias of Klal Yisrael. And not only that, it's the secret of the kiyum ha'olam, because the whole world only exists because there is Am Hashem, who are makia in the Kvod Shamayim. If Klal Yisrael Chas v'Shalom didn't exist, there wouldn't be a world at all. Right? And therefore, this time of year is the key, he says, to the nitzchias of Klal Yisrael, to the kiyum ha'olam, and in that sense, we are shutfim b'maaseh bereishis. We are partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'maaseh bereishis by doing tshuva, by redefining ourselves and redefining Klal Yisrael. You know what? Klal Yisrael have gone off the derech. Many of them, the majority of Klal Yisrael don't even know how to daven, don't know how to say Kriya Shema, don't know who Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are. That's the sad facts of the life. But you know what? Zachor bris Avraham v'akedas Yitzchak. Remember us at our best. And you will know, and what we're saying is all the difficulties and people who've gone off the derech are people who only b'mikra have gone off the derech, but in their heart, in their soul, they're still connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, there's a homing instinct that they can find their way back, and that is Uvahu Ovdim Be'eretz Ashur, V'hanidochin Be'eretz Mitzrayim. The Malbim says, Ovdim Be'eretz Ashur, he's a play on words. Ashur, of course, means Assyria. Talk about the 10 tribes who got lost in Assyria, right? But he says, no, Ashur means Osher, means wealth and prosperity and affluence. There are people who are Ovdim Be'eretz Ashur, they get lost in freedom and prosperity. Sadly, that is true about how many millions of Yidden in the world today, right? And then there are Nidochim Be'eretz Mitzrayim. Those are the people who got lost to Yiddishkeit because of pogroms and holocausts and suffering, right? All those will come to return, says Yeshaya Hanavi. They will all come, Nishtachvus Hashem B'Har Kodesh B'Yerushalayim, and Yirotzen, that indeed this should be we should get into a new year, Tavshin Pei Daled, that Bez Hashem should be a year of Basuras Tevas, a year of Kiruv Rechokim, a year of Emunah, a year where we can identify with our best selves and bring it out min hakoyach el hapoyal in the best way possible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us all a good gebenched year and a Yom Malei Hashem mishalas lebeinu l'teva. Amen.